Hello, good morning. Thursday morning, and got to do a late shift, so I thought I'd just do a vlog before I go. I hope you're all having a good week. It's starting to get chilly here now, so we are really heading towards winter. But thankfully we are off on holiday very soon. So yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think Japan would probably be colder. So I don't think it's going to make much difference. But at least it's not going to be in Australia in the winter, because Australia in the winter is awful. And the aches and the pains and I've talked about this so many times, but honest to God, they come flooding back. They've already come back, in all honesty. Now that is what I wanted to talk about today. Actually, it was health, as you'd expect, but specifically for someone who's over 50. Now, anybody who knows me well enough, especially when I was younger, understands that I really wasn't the healthiest person in the world. Now, as a child, I was big. I was a big child. I had a huge waist. And I remember mother, we used to go to this lady's house near where we lived called, oh my Lord, what was her name? I can't remember. Gosh. I think it was Mrs. Roberts, but I'm not sure. But anyway, what she used to do, she used to be able to let my trousers out so I could have more room, because I was that big. And I remember specifically a brown pair of corduroys, which were utterly horrendous. Look, it was the 1970s. What can I say? So my clothes, my clothes fitted around me rather than the other way round. So it was always difficult as a child to find clothes that would actually fit my body shape, and I really had to buy adult trousers, etc. And then what would happen? Mrs. Roberts would take up the trousers, and the waist generally would be okay. Obviously, at school, I used to have the rip taken out of me, something chronic. And look, hands up. Okay, I was a big child, and if you could have something to pick on someone with, it's weight. I was always the last person to be picked in physical education. It wasn't a great time for me, school, in all honesty. Now look, when I left school and I went into college, I did start to lose the weight. I mean, my parents would say to me, "Oh, it was just puppy fat." That's what they would say all the time. It wasn't puppy fat. It was a bit more than that, to be honest with you. I did love my food, so I would overeat. Blocks of cheese. So mother would buy huge blocks of cheese from the Co-op or Gateway, and I would literally go into the fridge and cut huge chunks off, and I would eat it like, I don't know, like chocolate. Dreadful, utterly dreadful. I still love cheese, don't get me wrong, but I limit myself to, what is it now, 20 grams a day. But back then, I just had no idea how much I would eat. And then obviously there was mum when she cooked the Sunday roast, and it was piled high, literally piled high. And I think, God, I was getting 8, 9, 10 roast potatoes and everything else. Everything was fresh as well. I mean, look, the vegetables were grown in the garden, so we'd always have fresh vegetables. I would always help mother sort of prepare the food, shell peas or bluebell beans or whatever. So it was all freshly cooked food. Potatoes cooked in lard, however, were not the best. They tasted, no one apart from my grandmother beats my mum's cooking, really. She was, they were both amazing cooks. They really were. And I'm not surprised that I would eat the amount I did. And my nanny Poppy, the food, so you used to go round her house, used to walk on the door, and you could smell the cooking on a Saturday. She would cook cakes and everything. Lovely fruit cakes. She did the best steak kidney pudding. Absolutely lovely. But suet is not great for this poor, gosh, 13, 14-year-old trying to lose weight, in all honesty. But, you know, I couldn't resist the cooking. I really couldn't. And especially when Nan used to say, oh, go and help yourself, do this, do that. Yeah, to make it worse. So anyway, over the years, I did lose the weight, as I said, when I initially left school. I went to college. And my weight has kind of been like that over the years. It's gone up and down, up and down. And these days, I really do watch my weight more than I've ever done in my life. It's like this morning, I've just had breakfast and I had porridge with ground flax seeds, and I had blueberries in it, and I had an apple and a banana. A little bit too carb heavy, possibly, but that will get me through now because, you know, I'm working that later shift, and it fills you up. Do you know what? It's not a Mars bar. It's not a bar of chocolate or a cake or a huge lump of cheese, but it does the job and it's healthy. The one thing I do tend to still do is have too much salt in my diet. I'm a big fan of Marmite. I eat Twiglets by the shed load. I do eat miso soup as well when I have rice, etc. And that's really high in salt. So I do need to cut back on my salt. And that's going to have to be done, especially as I'm getting older. And, you know, my blood pressure, because I did my blood pressure the other day, it was 114/80. And it's kind of stayed at those sort of levels. Since I've lost weight and I do exercise more and I do all those things, my blood pressure's stabilised. It's been absolutely fine. So I'm not on any blood pressure tablets. But having said that, I do monitor my blood pressure, if not every day, you know, every other day. It's just something I've done since I lived in Spain. And it's important because when you get to my age, because I'm like 55 now, the last thing you want to do is die of heart attack before your pension. So I don't want to be doing that. So I do monitor it. I still have the same monitor I had in Spain. And when I look at when I was initially put on blood pressure tablets in Spain, I think my blood pressure at that stage was 148/95. It was really, I think it was really high. I think that's high. If you know different, tell me. But I'm sure that's really high. And since that time, I'm not living in Spain. We had the local bar, you have the local squares, you go there for a pint, and you know, a pint of Mao is what, €1 or €2. Tapas, smoke cigarettes, because I used to smoke like a chimney as well. And all of those things sort of exacerbated my not only my weight and my blood pressure, but also my wellness and my state of mind as well. Because we lived at the top of a ravine, and to get up to our villa, you used to have to walk up this bloody great hill, and I was always out of breath. You know, we had lots of stairs in the villa as well, and I was out of breath by the time I reached the stop. And I think when I left and I moved back to Portsmouth and lived with my aunt for a bit, and I looked at their lifestyle, I'm trying not to be derogatory, but you know, my aunt smokes and drinks, etc., etc. And I also worked in a pub, and I saw the people smoking and drinking, and I think it kind of put me off. So almost immediately I gave up smoking. I drunk hardly anything, virtually nil, and I still drink virtually nothing. But then I do have IBS symptoms, so maybe that's why. So I find if I avoid those triggers, it's absolutely fine. But I'm 55 years old in a few weeks. Not only can I start claiming my pension, but I need to do more. I'm well aware of that. I still have unhealthy habits. I really do. And the salt is the main one. I'm a salt person, not a sugar person. I do eat a cherry ripe a day, which is probably not good for me as well. But it's all counted in my calories. I do have this calorie counter that I still do, and I don't go above generally 1800 calories a day. But that also has created its own problems because I've lost a hell of a lot of weight, and I've also lost a lot of body mass. Now, at my age, it's really, really important. You can actually see me there in this photo. You see how much bigger I was there compared to now. That's unhealthy. So it's not muscle, it's just fat. This now is, look, I've lost loads of weight. I'm a lot trimmer and fitter, and I'm not that big person anymore. But I do need to start building body mass, because when you get to this age, you need to start protecting yourself against any eventuality, really. So if I fall as I get older, I haven't really got a lot of strength in me to... I find now when I'm sat on the floor, I was reading on the internet that one of the telltale signs is if you can sit on the floor and get up without using your hands, you're doing all right. Well, I have to use at least my hands. You know, I have to prise myself off the floor. So I know that, yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I'm relatively thin. I want to say skinny. People honestly say to me, you look gaunt and skinny. Are you ill? No, I'm not ill. But yes, I am really quite skinny. I still have a bit of a belly, but that's probably because of the unhealthiness I still have. Those odd bars of chocolates and etc., etc. I do like cheese, but it's only 20 grams a day. Remember that. So look, I still have, you know, those difficulties. I do suffer with bloating through IBS as well, so that doesn't help. So I've done a little bit of research online. I'm trying to find a place where I can actually, do you know, it's quite odd because you're classed as a senior over 50 when you want to go to a gym. They have over 50 senior classes, so I guess I'm a senior in that respect. I'm not, but I am. I mean, I can move to a retirement park as well. So yeah, I'm at that age. And I have to start admitting that to myself. And when I have my binge day on a Sunday, so I eat healthy throughout the week, and on a Sunday I eat relatively as much as I want, what I want. I don't eat the healthiest stuff. I really don't. Vegemite scrolls, berry and white chocolate scones, bars of chocolate. Yeah, deli meat. Deli meat's one of the worst, apparently. So that's one of the worst for carcinogens. And I do like deli meat, so I like ham. I just love it. Ham rolls, etc. So I've got to cut that out. But in Australia, trying to find alternatives is a little bit difficult. In the UK, you can find those alternatives quite easily. But here it is a bit more difficult to do. And I don't want to do plant-based food because that is also highly processed, which is also bad for you. So I just have to find those other alternatives and start introducing them into my diet. That's the best thing to do. I cook soup. So I do my own soup. Every Monday I cook generally carrot soup, but I bought this soup kettle online, and generally all the vegetable leftovers that I've got in the fridge from the weekend, I can just chuck in this soup maker and you can make fresh soup. Tastes lovely, really, really nice. I was eating canned soup, but that is terribly unhealthy and it's so full of salt, it's untrue. I don't salt anything anymore. There's no salt in my cooking, no salt on my food. I do like black pepper, which I believe can increase your blood pressure as well. But as a rule, I do not put salt in anything at all. And that's good. That's as it should be. It does detract from the taste somewhat, but you know, salt is a killer in huge quantities. So I have to watch it. As much as I'm watching my weight. And with Japan coming up, I'm hoping the food will be a bit healthier. Maybe not Osaka where we are sort of staying, because there's a lot of fried food there as well. But we will be doing a lot of walking as well. So that's good. So yeah, currently looking for classes for an over 55 male who needs to build some body mass. So if you've got any ideas, do let me know, especially in the Perth area. Midland area would be preferable. I mean, there are gyms, but I'm looking for a place where there are like-minded people or people of my ilk, of my body shape. So I'm not going to feel too embarrassed. So I'll let you know how it goes. But, I do walk. I do exercise. We have got a stepper as well. So I do these things. And, it has worked. I am looking trimmer. I just need that muscle mass. I don't know if you can. I've got no muscle whatsoever. I can very thin wrists. I need to sort it, and I know I do. And hopefully, in time that will happen. Anyway, thanks for listening. I've got to get ready for work and look after yourselves.